Everyone, Jack here from Peach Guitars, and today I'm going to talk you through some of the really popular body sizes from Martin guitars. But before I do so, I just want to remind you to please make sure that you're subscribed to our YouTube channel and that you give us a like down below when you finish this video if you've enjoyed it. Okay then, so Martin acoustic guitars are very much the benchmark on which all other acoustic guitars are judged in the eyes of many players, and they're also used as the reference points for a lot of people when they're looking to describe different body styles and sizes. Everybody knows roughly what a triple O or a double O or a Dreadnought Martin guitar size is, and that's usually how people will compare other brands' guitars to them. So what I wanted to do today was basically stack them all up and let you hear for yourselves the differences between the tones of these guitars, and also walk through and give you some of my own personal insights into what I think these guitars are best suited for in terms of playing styles and comfort factor. So before I properly get stuck into the comparison element of this video, I want to do a back-to-back straightforward tone test on each body size so that you can hear directly how the body size impacts on the tone. Okay then, so with that out of the way, let me start walking you through some of the models from Martin. Right then, so let me start with this guitar, and this is a body size that we don't see very often at all. In fact, I've had to go right up to the custom shop level of Martin's offerings to be able to get one to show you. So this is an O, plain and simple. This is the smallest body size that Martin offer in their standard range of acoustic full-scale guitar designs. And really, I think it's quite a surprising guitar. It'll surprise a lot of people based on the fact of how it sounds compared to what you would expect it to sound like based on how it looks. So this is one guitar that's really a lot of fun to play. It's very, very comfortable to play as well because of the condensed body size. But the proportions of the body do not correlate to the sound that this instrument puts out. I think it's got a lot of projection, a lot of strong mid-range content, and it really just lends itself very well to not only some soft fingerstyle playing, but it will also handle it perfectly if you want to lay into it with a flat pick as well. And what you're going to hear in the sound example on this guitar is something that I think an instrument of this size really benefits from as well, which is to be capoed. And you really get those high frequency contents coming out as well. This guitar will speak in an articulate manner like no other guitar with a bigger body size would do. Now, as I said before, this is a custom shop level guitar as well, and in fact this is part of the Sinker lineup of models. So this guitar benefits from 300-year-old dried out Sinker mahogany for the back and sides. So this basically sounds like some of the best pre-war edition Martins ever made. It's got a lot of the best elements of those old guitars, but in a new, reliable and stable package. So I think you're going to find in this O model that it's a lot more versatile than you might expect based on how it looks. Okay, so moving up just one notch, this guitar is a 00 body size. Again, this is a model that you don't see too often from Martin. It's very closely associated with the guitars of the 30s and 40s from them, and it really kind of trailed off soon after that with the introduction of models like the OM and the Dreadnought a little bit earlier. But I think this is one of the most beneficial guitars in the entire range of Martin's products, because this is such an in-between perfect kind of Goldilocks guitar. For a lot of people who might find a Dreadnought or an OM size guitar a little bit too big and unwieldy to play comfortably at home or to record with, an instrument like this will still offer you a lot of the same projection and low frequency range, but it's just that little bit more comfortable to play with a slightly shorter scale than an OM or a Dreadnought. You've still got a 14 fret design though on the body, so you can still get access to the high frets if you want to play some lead lines on this guitar. But overall, the 00 size I think just sits pretty much perfectly in the middle. And if you're the kind of player that's maybe new to acoustic guitar, or if you're looking for something with that high level comfort factor, this is going to give you a lot of those classic tones that the bigger guitars would do, but marginally on the smaller side, it makes it a lot easier to play. That said, the smaller body proportions do have a tonal characteristic of their own, and I think you get a lot of strong mid-range, as you did with the single O guitar, but everything's just amped up a little bit more due to the larger body size on this model. As was the case with that single O guitar, this 00 is another custom shop level instrument, and it's part of the same Sinker mahogany lineup of guitars. So you've got that fantastically aged wood on the back and sides, as well as an Adirondack spruce top on this guitar to really push out those high shimmering frequencies. Okay then, so for the bang in the middle guitar, I wanted to bring things back down to Martin's very highly regarded 28 series of their USA line production guitars. This is an OM 28. Now I chose an OM over a triple O guitar, which has the exact same body proportions as an OM, for a couple of reasons. The OM affords you a little bit higher string tension and extra clarity in the upper frequencies, I feel. And that's due to the extended scale length of the OM as opposed to the triple O, as well as a slightly wider nut width. And the visual difference, of course, is the different pickguard to a triple O guitar as well. Now, the OM model, and more specifically the 28 series OM model, I think falls exactly where most people are looking at when they're looking to purchase a Martin guitar. This could very well be your only acoustic guitar, and you could get by covering you for a multitude of different styles, all the way from very gentle finger picking to really laying it out with some heavy flat picking as well. This guitar will cover you in all bases. The other great thing about an OM guitar is just how well it responds when you're playing single note lines and alternating with chords as well. Because of that extended scale length, you get a lot of extra clarity in the guitar as opposed to a triple O or a 00 guitar. Whereas those guitars have a little bit more of a warmth to the lower notes, I think this guitar excels in its clarity. And it's really the quality in those higher register frequencies that appeal to players like John Mayer, who has his own signature OM model, because he demands kind of the maximum amount of clarity and articulation when he's going between single note lines and chords, and this guitar delivers that very, very well. Right then, so on to the one that you're all waiting for, the one that you all know and will all be familiar with. This is very much the staple and archetype of Martin's guitar history, the Dreadnought. So this was a guitar design that they pioneered way back in the early 20th century, and it's still going very, very strong to this day. The Dreadnought is definitely the most familiar size and familiar sound for most people if you're looking to consider an acoustic guitar. And I've picked out this 42 series example because I think this is one of the very best Dreadnoughts that I've ever played. It really exemplifies all the great things that Martin's history have allowed them to pioneer and push forward with acoustic guitar design. But you have the benefit of it being a completely modern package with modern stability improvements that make this guitar way more usable in a wider array of situations. So Dreadnought body size is pretty much good for any style that you can throw at it. Obviously it's most appropriate for flat picking and heavy strumming styles, but you can also finger pick on this guitar very, very comfortably as long as you're prepared to put in a little bit more physical effort to get the maximum tone out of this large-bodied guitar. Okay, so being a 42 series guitar, not only do you have a couple of really fancy ornate pieces on this guitar like the gold tuners and the extended binding around the instrument, but you also get a lot more depth to the tone that I think is more in keeping with those classic guitars of the 30s and 40s that we all revere so highly. Right then, so this is another Dreadnought-sized instrument, but I couldn't get away without talking about 12-string variant of the Dreadnought. This is another really classic sound that most people will have in their heads, and I just wanted to dispel the myth that all 12-string acoustics sound alike, because that is definitely not the case, and this guitar will prove that point. So being a 12-string from the 28 series, this guitar was reimagined a few years ago along with the rest of the 28 series line, and it really affords the player a lot of tonal benefits as well as some comfort features that I really think benefit this guitar massively, because if you've never played a 12-string guitar before, it can be quite a daunting experience, but not the case with this particular guitar. Tonally as well, I think the 28 series is incredibly well balanced, and this guitar is just as at home playing single notes, single lines, as well as big deep chords that you expect to play on a 12-string. Okay, so here's a little wild card for you. As I went up to the custom shop level when I was talking about the O and the double O guitars, and we're talking specifically about body sizes, I wanted to bring this into the equation, which is one of my favourite guitars that we've ever had in this shop. This is a size 5 Turs edition from the custom shop with Martin. And it's obviously a massively shorter scale instrument, but it still projects a lot of sweet tone. It's got a really nice, rich mid-range to it, and it's tuned G to G, so it's like having a capo on the 3rd fret. But I just think this is one of those fantastic studio instruments that you should always have around if you want to just get an alternate tone and really find a nice high frequency part to put in the mix. Not only is this guitar a lot of fun to play, but it's also part of the same Sinker mahogany lineup as that single O and double O I talked about. So you've got a really high grade of tone wood for the back and sides, as well as a Sitka spruce top in classic Martin form. Hopefully this guide will talk you through the finer points of the different body sizes that you wanted to know to make a purchase for yourself. Now, I've talked about a lot of different series and levels of guitars from Martin today, so if you want to find out any more about these instruments, you can do that by going to peachguitars.com, and you'll also be able to find the full inventory of instruments that we've got and hear every single guitar by way of the listing videos that we film for each one. So I do hope that you found this little walkthrough of the different body sizes from Martin useful, and if you have, please leave us a like and comment down below with your thoughts. Let me know which of these guitars was your favourite as well, which body size appeals most to you. As I said, you can find out all the info of the guitars that we carry at peachguitars.com, and until next time, stay safe, and I'll look forward to seeing you then. Cheers.